James was watching the news after coming back from work. He saw that the body of a girl was found buried in the backyard of an apartment building. James was shocked to see that it was the same apartment which he lived in a few years ago. James immediately called Mr. Jacob, who was his neighbor when he lived in this apartment. But now he has moved to a different city.
Hey, did you watch the news? The police found a body in the apartment which we lived before. No? It's awful. I can't imagine what her parents feel.
James said goodbye to Mr. Jacob and called the police. Mr. Jacob was arrested that day. Do you know why James did that? Nobody had told Mr. Jacob that it was a girl that they had found, so he must be the killer. Once there was a company named Loram and Company. It was a famous company with a huge warehouse. It always had tight security in the warehouse too. It was season time. 2 days back, fresh stock had come so warehouse was full. After a few days, the police got a call from the company warehouse. Security speaks, please come to the warehouse, all stock is stolen. After some time, police came, and he saw that security James was tied, and the full warehouse was empty. The security James said that someone hit him on the head and tied him to the chair. But somehow, he tried to escape and informed the police. When police investigated, they got to know James was fooling them. Can you say how police came to know that the security James is telling a lie? Who is the thief? Let us see the answers. If you notice, there is no chair in warehouse. And also you can see 3 empty teacups on the table next to the phone. So from this, police came to know that James is also one among the thieves. One day, Albert was reading books in his drawing room. As usual, he called his maid Stella and said, "I want a cup of coffee." Stella prepared coffee and told Albert, "Sir, today I will be leaving early to my house." Albert asked her, "Why, what happened?" Stella says, "My younger child is not feeling well." Then Albert says, "Okay." Maid says thank you and left. After she leaves, there comes someone in his room and hit Albert on his head. Next day, when Albert's wife Emily came, and when she went into the drawing room, she saw her husband on the floor, and he was dead. She called Detective David and said, "I was on a business trip, and now I return and see my husband is dead." Detective David comes and asks for all the members who were present at the time of the incident. Till then, David examined the drawing room. He got the flower pot which was used to kill Albert. When he first asked his daughter, she said, "I was in my bedroom watching TV." Then he asked the maid Stella. She said after giving him coffee, "I went home early because my younger one was not feeling well." Then he asked his wife, and she said, "I was on vacation with my friends." Detective David came to know who is lying. Can you say how David came to know who is telling lies? When Detective David asked Albert's wife Emily, she said she had gone on vacation with friends. But earlier she told that she was on a business trip. Something was fishy. Detective David came to know that she is the person behind her husband's death. One day, it was raining heavily. Detective was returning home after solving many cases. On the way, rain poured heavily. Detective John saw a bungalow. He went inside. Because of the downpour, there was no power in the bungalow, so he was not able to see, and he heard some weird noise, so he thought to get out of the bungalow. But he lost his way. With great difficulty, he saw 3 gates. At the first gate, the door was covered with lots of bats. Second gate was full of rust and jammed, as not used from ages. Before the third gate, some broken electric wires had fallen in the water. Anyone stepping on it would die. Can you say which door would Detective John choose and escape from the bungalow? Let us see the answer. Detective chose the third door because there is no power. So Detective John can travel in water and he escapes from the third door. There was a businessman named Jeffrey who was on business trips most of the time. His next business trip was to Nagaland. He books his ticket and leaves for Nagaland. After he reached the destination, he called for a taxi. On the way, he sees Fish lying dead in the river. He reached the hotel. On the way to his room, he's been kidnapped and taken away from the hotel to a remote house where he's locked in a room. And when he tries to escape, he finds two doors. He also sees some junk in the corner. When Jeffrey tries to open the first door, he finds a wild, hungry dog. And when the second door opens, he sees a river which has crocodiles. They would eat him too. Can you say which door he will choose? Let us see the answer. Second door. When Jeffrey was on the way to the hotel, he had seen fishes were dead in the river. So it's the same river that flows over. He finds the dead fishes to feed the crocodile and gets the hidden rope to cross the river and escape from there.